morning. It is the second hour of Power Talk. The sound in your ear is Power 98.7, and the voice is myself, Lukona Lupawa Mnguni. Then we'll be bringing you this conversation with us, the people. This is our political party featuring this week here on Power Talk. After that, we will bring you part 2 of the conversation that we were having on Monday. Yes, it was Monday, and it was quite clear that we need to have a part 2 of that conversation, looking at food prices in South Africa and why they are still on the rise and continuing so. I mean, various food items having different, and we'll be talking again to the Peter Maritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group. Stay tight. And today is a Wednesday. It can only mean one thing. The language corner is alive and kicking, and we now bring you, let me just count, Sipedi, isiZulu, Xitsonga, Ndebele. We bring you the 5th language, Setswana, at 11:30 this morning. So hang on tight and stay with us here on Power Talk. There are all sort of things that we will be bringing you as some of you continue to keep an eye on SAPTPT as to what is going to happen in Kandla today. Will the former president sleep at his house or not? That's a story for another day. Will the Minister of Police and the National Commissioner of Police be in contempt of court if they do not act? Or will we see a response to the letter by the state attorney on behalf of the South African Police Service and the ministry from the Constitutional Court giving some bit of direction or directives? Well, we will see. We will see. We are in interesting times. But before we get to all of those things, my guest is Kemokoenawamathole Msholozi Mathole, convener of Us the People. Good morning, sir.
How are you, Munguni?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm well, and a good morning to all Power listeners.
No, thank you very much. I mean, perhaps let's just start at the foundational steps of Us the People. I mean, an interesting name, by the way, for a political party, and we'll get to that in a short while. But tell us, how did the formation of Us the People come about? I'm sure by the time you sort of launched January 2020, that was not the initiation stage. You had probably been in conversation with many more people prior to that.
Yes, what happened is that we're a group of people who sit down and have a conversation on the political landscape in the world, even in South Africa, when we see that there is a need for new ideas to emerge. So when we sit, we spoke a lot. We have a serious debate, and that now how the new party look like. And if you read our manifesto, we are the only party who's not cross-stating, that's why even the name is Us the People, because we believe in the people, we believe in direct democracy and the freedom of the people.
Now, I'm going to get to that because I find your ideological orientation very interesting. I mean, it took me back to some political philosophy as I was reading that manifesto. When you say Us the People, and this is something that you try and navigate in the manifesto, who are the people?
As the people is the people. Anyone who is a human being is the member of Us the People. Anyone.
And there's this idea, and there's this idea of the earth in your foundation, right? That place, you say earth. That's where people are, and it informs some of your commentary as a political organization on the question of land. Question of mineral resources, question of water in the oceans. Take us through some of the thinking of Us the People within your ideological orientation.
Yes, our ideology is clear and simple. It's the people. That's why we don't believe that there must be any system that we can impose to people except the people themselves. So when you see in our logo, you see the map where the world map where there are people. Yeah, it's the people around the world. When you see ocean, everything, all resources, all minerals, everything belongs to the people. We believe that anything that people they can do on their own. People, they don't need a shepherd, they are not sheep. Because the system that we are living in now is the system that the state is behaving like a god. Or as you are just the son, you are just children. We must anything state just impose. So And the system that we're living with, it's been failing people. It's created inequality. It's created corruption. It's created all sort of bad things, crime and everything. So what is the solution? The solution is us, the people. We can change this as the people, wherever we stay, wherever you are, no matter anywhere where you are on earth. As long as the people, they can change the situation, to be direct democracy, to enjoy their freedom as they live here on earth. But if the people, they still content with this system that no, there must be a leader, like here in South Africa, when we speak democracy, we speak electing. The people of South Africa, they go to only they can elect leaders, but policies and everything is decided by those minority. People, they go and those things. There are a lot of things that are happening in South Africa. People, they don't want it, but because of the few people that they sit there in parliament or wherever, or judge, wherever, they just decide on those. So as the people, we believe that as the people, we must decide on anything, everything, and we must work for ourselves. Because now, people, they are not working for themselves. The state is jail people. People, they work for state. They are being taxed left and right. They can even arrest you for not working for state. State can take you to jail for not paying tax. And what is tax? Tax is your money. And you can't claim anything that, no, you didn't use my tax very well. Who must go to prison? The state can go to prison. The state is always right. It's God. So the idea of the state and God is of behaving like God is the enemy of us, the people. Because now we are being in prison by the state. Nothing else but the state. So we see the state as the enemy of the people. We see the state as the manufacturer of all the corruption, crime, everything that is happening, inequalities, everything, the powers that it has. The state have more power. People, they obey state more than anything else, more than even God, more than anything else. They obey state. And the state is playing a role as it is the only holy and righteousness and right. And we see as the people that no, the problem that we're having all over the world is nothing else. But if we can we collapse, we demolish, we abolish this animal called state, so people will live in peace.
I want us to explore that. My guest is Kemokoenawamathole Msholozi, convener and founder of Us the People. He's joining me this morning, sharing what their ideological underpinnings are, their perspectives on society and the state are. If you want to join in on this conversation, 0861 987 000 is the dial to find us on. The WhatsApp line is open if you want to send him a voice note on 0833037093. Now, let's go, Mathole, to this idea of, abolishing the state. In the spectrum of, ideologies on thinking around the state, you would fall under anarchism, and you are probably, anarcho-socialist, because you also declared at the end that you are socialist, but libertarian socialist. We'll get to that point as well soon. But this idea of anarchism, when you think of the state and how you should abolish the state, and then people, anarcho-capitalists will say, then you own things privately, the power is decentralized and devolved. But you are coming to anarchism with a different ideological orientation of being socialist and the people. And you also talk about what you call not equality, but equal freedom.
Yes.
Now, when you talk of equal freedom, and then you envisage a society without a state,
yes,
what harmonizes the relationships between people in society?
Themselves. Self-governance. Self-governance. We don't need a state where we have these institutions that they pretend as the righteousness of correctness, the monopoly of correctness. So when you speak about anarcho-capitalism, you speak about free market, where everyone they just is free market. What we're speaking about, we speak about freedom and equality. People, they must enjoy freedom. There is nothing in the world that is more important than freedom. If you don't have freedom, that means you are in prison. There is no difference between you and a prisoner if you still not have freedom. And a freedom, we don't. There's no a freedom of making crime. No, that's not a freedom, because we infringe other people's freedom. And there is no crime where there's no victim. So, but the state, they've been arresting people where there's no victims and everything like that. So the people, they have been living like a sheep, and the state is being a shepherd. That every time when a shepherd want to perform a ritual, he go to the kraal and take one sheep and slaughter. You understand? So it's what the world we're experiencing now. The society that as the people we want a free society. We want a society where there is freedom, where a society where we own everything that we live as a society, as the people. Not to someone must be having a monopoly of land over each other so that he can exploit someone. But if we have equal shares of the natural resource, all of us, we have shared as people in all the natural resources. We don't need a custodian called state, because if you bring a custodian, the custodian has favors. Custodian will come and give certain people a responsibility because he favors. They will always be favored. There will always be those who are requirements, like now when you go say you want to do this, there is the requirements, and this requirement is selected, is a qualification. It's like a qualification is the way of sidelining other people. It's like in the world, people who never went to school, they admitted or they never went to school, they must earn less. And it's the system that taught people that no, because you never went to school, this is a doctor from this university must earn 80,000, you must get 3.5. And when you look, those people, they are working, they are contributing the same thing that anyone who comes from the school is having. So it's all about qualification, and qualification doesn't work. It's just another way to oppress people, certain people, create class or no. These are people who are from this, they must end this. These are people who never went to school, who don't even have matric. They must do this, they must end this, and they must work this. So those are things that humanity has been living with, and which is a crime against humanity. We've been oppressing each other based on those rules, based on those qualifications. So as a people, we are aiming that we need a society where people live as people, not a law, not authority. Because the problem that we have even in the world today, all the problem from the First World War until this Third World War that we're having now, everything is not nature, it's the people, it's certain individual who created all the problems. Even when you speak about crime, we speak about corruption and everything. Those are the problem that individuals created. That's why we have those, because people are being reduced to be sheep. They are reduced to be sheeple, so that they must just listen to this one or this one. They have monopoly of intelligence. We must listen to them. These are our leaders. And if you look, those people who are leading, they are not good in anything. They are just there because they are leading. You understand? And there is this narrative. No, there are certain people who are gifted with. No. As the people, we believe that each and what we need, what I need, I don't need money, I don't need technology. I need people, because anything, even here in South Africa, if we want to see the economy growing, we must just increase ourselves as people and work the land.
Mathole, let's take a break there. Let's take a break. They'll go to a quick break. I want to come back. I find this so fascinating because it's a strand of political thought that is extremely missing in our country. So I find it fascinating. After the break, we will talk about your skepticism as us, the people, on representative democracy. But I will also want to ask you a question. Where then, or what then becomes of our constitution, and what do you think about social contracts? Because, I mean, really how they came about was to try and take us out of the uncertainties of what you call social contract theorists primitive, having espoused a primitive idea. So fascinating stuff to debate and talk about. People of power, if you want to be part of this conversation, 0861 987 000. This is absolutely amazing for me, because it's political thought that is not, taking for granted what we put across as the electoral system, what we put across as the interpretation of the state, what we put across as the organizing and organization of politics. They say, let 1,000 flowers blossom.
The awesome new Samsung Galaxy A22 has landed, offering popping pastel, black mint and violet colors. Enjoy Insta-ready photos with its intelligent 48-megapixel quad camera. Optical image stabilizer for steady and clear TikTok videos with 64 gigabytes of storage. Bounce back twice as fast with its 5,000 milliamp hour battery that can last up to 2 days. Awesome is for everyone. Available at participating retailers nationwide. T's and C's apply.
No matter who you are or what you drive, Outsurance could possibly save you money on your car insurance. Like 38-year-old Lehucho, who saved 272 rands to insure his white 2013 Jeep Compass 2-liter LTD. SMS out to 40253, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask them for 500 rands or 1,500 rands if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Jikizinto, make the change. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent and reviewed annually. T's and C's apply.
The station for news and talk. Power 98.7. 103.6 in South Johannesburg. 104.4 in the Vaal. And 107.2 in Ekurhuleni. Now we're talking.
Indeed, we are talking. It is a Wednesday morning. Between 10 and 11 on Wednesdays, we bring you conversations with different political formations and political parties. My guest is Kemokoenawamathole Msholozi, also known as Msholozi. He's convener and founder of Us the People, taking us through the foundations of their political thought and really what it is that they stand for. And, who should have the power and what harmonizes relations in society. Mathole, let's come back to this one. Firstly, let's deal with the Constitution of South Africa as it stands. If you want to abolish the state, what then would become of the country's constitution?
No, everything that, like the Constitution, it was never meant by the people. People, they never participated. My certain people, business, and the people who have influence, they influence it. That's why every time it will always in the favor of those who, of the ruling elite. So that constitution is not the constitution of the people, it's the constitution of the state. And who is the state working for? The state is will always be the instrument of the oppressor. So we in the society that we want as the people, the constitution, it will be us the people. It will be us as the people who determine what we want and what we don't want as the people. So,
but we often speak of the constitution, and it really segues to what I want to talk to you about. We talk about the constitution as a social contract. Okay, sure, not everybody might have a say. I mean, would you then disagree with social contract theorists such as your Hobbes and your John Locke's, who, would talk to you and say the reason why it is important to enter into a social contract is to try and harmonize relationships between people? Because I know you say, most people will say a stateless society becomes anarchic and there's chaos, and you disagree with that as primitive ideas. But the social contract theorists are quite compelling in exactly why people needed to form states to harmonize relationships between people, what Hobbes calls a war of all against all, to try and actually avert that. How would you respond to those sentiments?
That is the problematic thing. It's like a marriage now that you must go and sign. That's why now when people they have to divorce, it can even take 10 years because they need lawyers. All the time on the street, you'll meet someone. I don't know, I need a lawyer. I'm in a divorce. It's a stress, something that you must just part ways. But it becomes a contract. It becomes even involving money. We don't need a society that will live in such. We need a society where we sit now here in this society. What we want as the people, we want this and this and this. We want this and this because those laws, all of them, they are meant to nothing else. They are meant to oppress people. If you see the history of supervising, where people you find some people working, someone is a supervisor. It came from slavery during the time of slavery, where a slave master, a slave police is looking at slavery now. There is no slave that is running away. But people who work together, they'll never have a supervisor who's supervising. Their job is just to look who's not working, who's working. So when you become this, it must be this and this that we agree with this and this. No, what if tomorrow we think otherwise? Because there are a lot of things that today you can think like this or no. Today it is this and this and this. When tomorrow comes, there is a new challenge. And as the people, we must sit down and look and know. Now there's no rain.
Mathole, just hold it there. Before we go to news, I want to get in a question because it seems as if many people are interested to engage you in this political thought. As I said, it's quite disruptive, exciting for me because it's political thought that doesn't come through enough in our landscape. Mulimo, good morning. Mulimo, Mayatin. Okay. Banyana seems as if Mulimo there is not latching on properly on my ESP. Good morning, Hammanskraw.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm good. When you started, I was agreeing with your guest there, but as it goes on, it's thinking about the issue of qualifications and people not being seen as equal in terms of corporate. I'd like to disagree with that one. Let me tell you, I think ourselves as biological as animals, right? Now, as animals, competition is in our nature. So now, in order to enhance yourself, to be able to outcome others, you need to sort of get yourself some muscle. In this terms of corporate, you must get yourself those qualifications so that you can outcome others and do better than others, and then you get to earn more.
So Spirit, just tell me which part were you agreeing with, so that we try and balance these two.
Yes, when he said that a general worker must earn the same as the doctor, or the doctor earning the same is system trying to disadvantage the poor. I don't understand that one. Maybe you can give us a better.
What are you agreeing with, though?
What I was agreeing with is how he started saying, in order for people to get certain things, such as land, these criteria, now those criteria become a burden. It becomes sort of this wall. That's what people.
Okay.
But, we must understand that.
I get you, Spew. Thank you very much. I think I have. No. Thank you. Let's keep it dialed on 0861 987 000. Let's go to Mulimo. Good morning.
Hi, Lukona.
How's it?
I am good. How are you?
I'm well. Go for it.
Mathole.
Mulimo, am I losing you?
Mulimo.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you now.
I just for Mathole, because as we have the state, the state is studying for equality. I mean, it's able to protect the poor of the poorest. The state, who then becomes the protection? Who protects the poor? Because as it is, the richer will just become richer, and the rich are ruthless. Who then protects the poor? What this the concept of us, the people? That's what I wanted to ask Mathole.
Okay, thank you very much, Mulimo. Mathole, I'll give you a chance to respond after the news headlines, so that you are not pressed for time. There are still a number of people who are lined up. I'm also getting some questions for you on Twitter. I will definitely make sure that I don't hog you to myself and just literally open it up to people of power, because I think you have now sort of laid the ground, laid the foundation as to your political thinking as what I call anarcho-socialists, anarchism that believes in the abolishment of the state. Do we need a state? I mean, any level yet discourse, Len, I'm telling you. Any level yet discourse. This is no just political party exercise, I'm telling you. Yes, any level yet discourse. And this is what I have been saying at times is missing in our political landscape. A politics that is ideologically embedded, crystal clear, and quite crisp in its articulation. It's 10:30. It's time for Power News headlines.
Thanks, Lukona. A very good morning. In stories making headlines at this hour, the Democratic Alliance says President Cyril Ramaphosa's silence